Society does not need you to fail. Failure is loud. It gets noticed, questioned, sometimes even fixed. What society actually needs is for you to stay average, comfortable enough to never leave, distracted enough to never build, surrounded enough to never sit alone with your own ambition, long enough to act on it. You were taught that constant connection is health, and that withdrawing to focus is a problem to fix. That belief is not an accident. It is the exact mechanism that keeps most men exactly where they are, and the moment you start pulling away to actually build something, they have a name ready for you. Distant, different, too serious. I'm not here to tell you isolation is easy, or that it doesn't cost you anything. It does. I'm here to show you why that cost is the price every system around you is betting you won't pay. And why the very thing that makes you feel alone right now is the same thing separating you from the version of yourself they never wanted you to become. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how staying social, staying agreeable, staying available is the quietest way a man gets kept average. Stay with me. Here's what nobody tells you about growth. It doesn't happen in groups. Society sells you the idea that life is meant to be shared constantly. Every meal, every win, every plan, posted and witnessed and validated by people around you. And if you're not doing that, something must be wrong with you. But the truth is colder than that. The men who actually build something, a skill, a business, a discipline, a mind sharp enough to outlast everyone else, almost always go quiet first. Not because they're broken, because building requires a kind of focus that socializing destroys. Every hour you spend explaining your goals to people who won't act on theirs is an hour you didn't spend working. Every night you spend out to avoid being alone with your thoughts is a night your competition spent getting better than you. This isn't about hating people. It's about understanding a trade-off most men refuse to make. You cannot be everywhere, with everyone all the time, and still become someone rare. Remember that word, rare. We'll come back to it. Let me show you what this looks like. Two men start the same year with the same goal. Build something of their own. The first man stays social. He goes out most weekends. He's at every group hangout, every birthday, every just one drink that turns into a late night. He tells everyone about his plans, the business he's starting, the channel he's building, the version of himself he's working toward. They nod. They say, "That's great, bro." And then the night continues and nothing changes. A year passes. He's still talking about the same plans, still surrounded by the same people, still explaining himself to a room that already stopped listening months ago. Now the second man. He pulls back. Not out of bitterness, out of necessity. He stops accepting every invite. He stops narrating his goals to people who can't help him reach them. His evenings that used to be spent out are now spent working, learning, refining. People notice. Some call him distant. A few stop reaching out altogether. A year passes. He's unrecognizable, sharper, quieter, further along than anyone around him expected. Same starting point, completely different trajectory. Think about a seed underground. While it's growing, nobody can see anything happening. No movement above the surface, no proof, no update to give anyone watching. If the seed needed an audience to keep growing, it would never make it to the surface at all. The growth that matters most always happens somewhere no one is watching. Most men want growth they can show people in real time, but the version of you that's actually being built, the one with discipline, sharpness, depth, that version is being built underground, in silence, with nothing to post and nothing to prove yet. Before we go further, if this is landing, drop a like. It costs nothing and it tells me to keep making content like this. Now back to it. Now think about a wolf that walks away from the pack. People assume a lone wolf is weak, cast out, rejected, struggling to survive without the group. But often it's the opposite. A wolf leaves the pack when it's strong enough to survive without it. It's not running from connection, it's choosing direction over comfort. The world will tell you that a man alone is a man who failed socially. Sometimes a man alone is simply a man who chose where he's going over who's watching him go there. Remember the word I told you to hold onto. Rare. Here's what that actually means. Everything common is loud. Everyone has an opinion they need to share immediately. Everyone needs validation in real time. Everyone needs to be seen doing the work, not just doing it. What's rare is a man who can disappear for a year and come back as someone people don't recognize. That kind of transformation cannot happen in a group chat. It cannot happen while you're explaining your goals to 10 people who will forget the conversation by morning. It happens in the hours nobody sees, the ones where you're alone with the work, with no one clapping, with nothing but the decision to keep going. The loneliness you feel right now isn't a sign you're doing something wrong. It's often a sign you're doing something most people are too afraid to do. Here is the mindset. Stop measuring your life by how surrounded you are. Start measuring it by how far you've come since the last time you let people pull you off course. Most men confuse being liked with being respected. They confuse being included with being valuable. They stay in rooms that no longer serve them because leaving feels like loss. But every great thing you'll ever build will cost you some version of belonging you used to have. The men who built empires, mastered crafts, became something rare. Almost all of them paid this price. Not because they hated people, because they understood that becoming someone takes more solitude than most people are willing to survive. You don't need everyone to understand what you're building. You need yourself to understand it. That's enough. The loneliest rooms often hold the men closest to becoming who they were meant to be. Most men will spend their whole life surrounded by people, agreeable, available, easy to keep around, and call that a full life, when really it was just the easiest way to stay exactly where they started. You now know the difference. The isolation isn't punishment, it's the one thing they were counting on you never choosing. Most men won't choose it. You already know if you will. This is Liss, Brine.